Good evening and welcome to the Trading the Tech Show. This is Derek with iLi Academy. Today is Sunday, April 18th, 2021. And so I hope everybody had a great weekend. We are back up and trading again uh, on a Sunday night. So we're going to go over some charts and see what type of opportunities kind of present themselves for this week coming up. And we'll see if there's some things that might make us some dollars this particular week. Tonight's Sunday, of course, so everything that we look at tonight will um, may change. It could change, as we start to set up direction for the week. Just definitely depending on what the Dow Jones does, we'll that's kind of going to set the tone for where we go, especially during the U.S. session when most of us are trading. But overnight, it could have an effect too because the Dow and how the U.S. market flows a lot of times will affect those other markets that are open overnight and also in Europe as well. So let's get started with our show. And for the Dow Jones Industrial Average, we were up 164.68 points on Friday to 34,200.67. So we're at record highs for the Dow. The S&P 500 was up 15.05 points to 4185.47, which is also another record, record high. Nasdaq, record high close anyway. The Nasdaq was up 13.58 points to 14,052.34. The Russell 2000 is up 5.6 points to 2262.67. So we had green across the screen on Friday, much of the week. Well, the week ended up, of course. Let's go back. Matter of fact, let me go and pull the 5-day Dow chart so you can see how the week kind of turned out. So yeah, so look at we started right around just below 33,800 and ended up over 34,200. So probably about a 400, a little over 400 point swing on the week. So we're going to see what happens. We're going to see what happens as we go forward into this week. What do traders really want to do? Do they want to continue this move up, or do they want to sell off here? Are they getting a little bit afraid? Just looking at the way that it's been moving, at least since the 13th or about mid the 13th, we've kind of just been kind of stair stepping up here. We kind of jumped up here, leveled off a little bit, jumped up again, leveled off, jumped up again, kind of leveled off, and then kind of traded up on the end of the week. So normally that's a good sign. The traders are kind of, jumping up just a bit by bit, taking their time a little bit, kind of assessing the situation and then moving up again. So wouldn't be surprised if we continue that move this week. But we don't have a crystal ball, so we can't predict what's going to happen. We can just kind of, banter about and talk a little bit about what would be cool if it happens. So we'll be watching that and seeing how that affects our trades here. So I'm going to start at the beginning here for our Aussie CAD and just see what opportunities present themselves now. This Aussie CAD here is trading now above our 720 here. Rates above the 720. All the moving averages are above the 720. Our long-term moving averages are definitely above the 720, and there's a lot of room between our 720 and our 200 here. So I don't have any thoughts about this changing direction just yet. Trend is in to the upside. So we're going to be buyers here on this 100 and this 50. They're both sitting at this 96.74 level. That's the place where I would be a buyer because that's really pretty much the only place available as far as the strategy goes. As far as the Aussie yen goes, we're trading right now above our 720. In the last hour or so, we were below the 720. So that means we could drop our order here on our 200 to buy or on our 100 or our 50 up here at the 8407 mark. We can drop in a buy a little more conservative up there, but I have no problem placing it here, maybe on this 200 at this 83.96 mark, because we're, looks like we're headed up. All of our moving averages are above the 720. That's the direction that is prevailing. As far as our Aussie New Zealand goes, we're trading below our 720. Here's our 720 here. Rates down below the 720. We're pushing now. We've pushed up past our long-term moving averages. So we've pushed past the 100, the 50, and the 200, which are both sitting kind of in this same area here, right around the 108, 108.19 area. So we can short on this 200 and the 50 where that's at 108.19, or we can short here on this 100, which is going to be 108.17. It's 2 pips different, so we might as well use the 200 and the 50. We're pushing up here past the, towards the 720 once again. But, even though we moved up past the 720 here on Friday, and then again at the opening of trade today, pretty much that's where we were, we still recognize direction, which is told by our long-term moving averages, which are below our 720. As far as the Aussie US goes, we're trading here above our 720. All the moving averages are above the 720. Looks like we're bouncing off our 200 now. We're headed towards our 100. Just about the ask is just about sitting on top of the 100 right now. So the only entry point right now is going to be our 50 at the 77.30 area. It's going to be a little close to where we are now. So, but I don't have any thoughts of this turning around and going to the downside. So I'd probably place that order on the 50 myself personally. As far as the CAD yen, we're trading here below our 720. All the moving averages are below the 720. They're not quite in order yet. It may straighten out here if the 50 jumps below our 100, but it'd be a very young, mature trend if that happens at this point in time. So we'll just kind of watch this and see what happens. We're well below our moving averages, so right now we don't have an option to trade. We'll have to wait until this kind of sets up more distance between our moving averages, kind of they straighten out, and then we get a pullback to our 50 or 100. As far as our Swiss yen goes, we're trading down here basically near our 720 at this point in time. All of the long-term moving averages, all the moving averages actually are above the 720, but the long terms are sitting up here. Right now, the 100 sitting at 118.12, the 200 and the 50 are hanging out here about 118.14. Those are the places that we can enter our orders in. You might as well use the 12, 118.12 at this, where the 100 sits, because there's a lot of distance between that and our 720. So the preferred direction is still to the upside here, irregardless of the red candles. We're still buyers here at that level. If this falls below the 720 and the moving averages decide to move below 2, then we can delete that order. We just won't risk anything. As far as the Euro Aussie goes, we're trading here below our 720. Our moving averages are all below the 720. Look at our 200 here has come down and actually dropped below the 720. That was like at the very end of the day on Friday. And now we're trying to get a little bit of distance between our 720 and our 200. It's not a whole lot, but it's trying. So, our opportunity is going to come once this kind of gets a little more distance, or a little more real estate between those two moving averages as the rate drops down here. Anytime it pulls back past our 50 or past our 100, then we can sell. As far as the Euro CAD goes, we're trading down here, getting close to our 720. We're pushing for that. However, our long-term moving averages are well above the 720. So we've got our 200, our 50, and our 100 above. And so we're going to be buyers on those levels. Okay. So that's the opportunity that we have now. So this is a nice trade setup as well. So far tonight, I mean, we've got a bunch of things that we can do and set up here that are pretty much pure signature FX auto trade trade options. So this is not so bad. As far as the Euro Swiss goes, we're trading here below our 720. All of our moving averages are in order really to the downside. Our 100 is just slightly below our 200. So we've got a mature trend. It's very, very young at this point in time. So we're just going to wait on pullbacks past our 50, past our 100 to short. Okay. As far as our Euro Pound goes, we're trading, let's see here, let me drop this here so I can, there we go, move my tools out of the way. And then, so we can see that we're trading above our 720 here. So it's a nice setup as well. All the moving averages are above the 720, rates above the 720. So we're buyers on these long-term moving averages. I probably use my 50 here at the 86.69 level because it's not anywhere near close to my 720. Neither are the other two long-term moving averages. So, we can buy at the earliest point. Or if you want to be more conservative, you're just a conservative person, or you use a different one that you want to enter on, maybe the 100 or the 200 all the time, you can choose those others as well. You can kind of tweak it to your liking and say, okay, this is the setup that I like to see. And this is the one that I want to use to make my entries. as long as it's on one of those moving averages, right? So you don't have to use the same one either. You can make the decision, hey, I'm just going to make it on a case by case basis, which one I'm going to use. That's typically what I do. As far as the euro yen goes, our rate dropped well below our 720 here, but we only have the 8 that's dropped below the 720 so far. It's such a steep drop and so quick that only the 8 could really kind of catch up to the rate a little bit as far as falling below the 720. Even the 21 hasn't crossed the 720 yet, so we're still going to be buyers on these long-term moving averages. The rate so far below, we can drop an order here on this 50 at 130.20. And if the rate never goes back to that level, we just never risked anything. We never, got into the trade. But that's our preferred direction, and our idea is that it will trade back in the preferred direction until that preferred direction changes. As far as the Euro New Zealand goes, we're trading below our 720 here. All of our moving averages are in order to, are down below the 720. They're not in order just yet. So we don't have a trend or anything like that. We do need to pull, wait on pullbacks past our 50 or our 100 to short. We did get that early in the evening tonight. We were up here trading above our 200. So we could have shorted either on this 200 if the spread allowed, or we could have dropped our order on the 50 or the 100, sitting here in yellow and blue. Our blue 50 and our yellow 100, we could have shorted there and we'd have a profitable trade right here tonight. As far as our Euro US goes, we're trading here above our 720. Here's our 720 way down here on the bottom. Got a lot of real estate between our 720 and our 200. So we don't believe that this is going to sell off, at any time soon, or at least change trend to a sell-off. We don't believe that. We believe this is going to be a buying opportunity either on this 200, we can drop it here, or we can drop it on the 100 or the 50 sitting up a little bit higher here. So that's really up to you what you want to do with this 200 here. If you feel like it's too close and it's more like placing a market order because there's only a couple of pips in between the two, then if that's your trading strategy and your discipline, stick with your discipline. I'll never tell you to not stick with your discipline. Just stick with your discipline on it. Don't really deviate from the discipline that you set, because if it kind of goes against you a little bit psychologically, you're going to know that it was against your discipline. And if it goes against you and you have to kind of wait, you might panic a little bit in that, and you might, kind of like ruin your psyche a little bit. And remember, your mindset is going to be the most important thing when you're trading. It's more important than even making the right entry. So you don't want to second guess your trade. So if it's in your trading plan and your strategy, and your discipline to take a trade that close to the bid or to the ask, you can do that. But if it's not, then don't. For me, it's pretty much not. I don't want to place it because I feel like it's placing a market order, so I would have to ignore that and just place my trade up higher. I'd rather lose the pips than lose my discipline. So I think that's probably the most powerful statement we could probably make. And the one thing that you want to take away from this particular show, losing your pips is better than losing your discipline. Losing a few pips on a profit is far better than losing your discipline, because losing your discipline is going to cost you a lot more in the long run. Right? Cost you your sanity, just trading. It's just going to be detrimental to your trade. So you don't want to do that. So pound Aussie, we're trading below our 720 here. All the moving averages are below the 720. The rate is up here, above our 200, 100, and our 50. So we can short either on this 200, or we can choose to use the 50 or the 100 as well. Sitting down here, the 100 sitting at 178.50. That's our lowest entry point. So same thing here. We're really close to our 200 here. If you want to short there, it's part of your discipline. You can go ahead and do that. If not, choose one of the other moving averages further out. Okay. Pound CAD, we're trading up here really close to our 720. The rate's kind of sitting right up there where the 720 is. We've got our moving averages setting up trend to the upside here. However, they're below the 720. So we're still, short sellers here on the 50, on this 100, or on the 200. So you can choose which one of these you want to use. I'd probably use a 50 right now, because the rate would kind of have to commit to that move to the downside. If it's anything like Friday's move, then we might get a nice move to the downside that, that pays us pretty well. And this 50 is up higher than where it was on Friday. So if we get this type of momentum to the downside again, that'd be cool. If not, and it keeps going to the upside, we delete. All right. Okay. Here's our 720 for our pound Swiss. Right. We're trading well below that. All the moving averages are below that. Our long-term moving averages, our 50 and our 200, are sitting in the same place, right around this 127.08 area. Our 100 is sitting down here just a little bit lower, around this 127.04. Okay, so we're going to short on those levels. Pound yen, we're trading here below our 720. Here's our 720 up top. We're trading well below the 720. We've already fallen through our 50, our 200, and now our 100. So we've already sold through all of the levels. So earlier in the evening when we were trading up here, closer to the 720, we could have dropped an order to sell on the 50, 200, or the 100. And, two of those trades would be profitable. The third one would be just about profitable. As far as the pound US goes, we're trading above our 720. All the moving averages except our 200 is above the 720. So our 200 is going to rule the roost here. It's telling us what the preferred direction is. Our preferred direction is still to the downside. However, the 200 is really close to my 720. So I'm not going to place an order to short there. That's something I would put in my journal or put into my mental and say, hey, listen, I'm not going to do anything on the pound US right now. We got to wait and see what kind of sets up. Let's see what happens overnight. If we get a push to the upside, this 200 might cross that 720 to the upside, and then we're just waiting on a pullback. But right now, I'm still going to be a short seller because I know my long-term direction is in the downward direction. But I'm not going to place an order there for me because my discipline says that's too close to my 720. New Zealand CAD, we're trading above our 720 here. The rate came down here and got below our 200. So we may or may not have been able to place an order there depending on the spread this evening when we got started, because right at the open was when we were below our 200 here, or well enough below it to place an order. But the spread might have prevented that. So if not, the only place we can place our order here now is going to be on our 100 or our 50, which are sitting at the 89.41 level. So we can buy there on the 89.40 level, a buy stop. As far as the New Zealand Swiss goes, we're trading here right near our 720. We're just above the 720 right now. We were below it, so we've surpassed a little bit. Now we're headed towards our 100 and our 50. So we wouldn't have been able to place our order here on this 200 most likely because of the spread at the beginning of the day, and then our rate was just too close. But we could place an order on this 50 or this 100 in order to buy. Now, rate's really close to my 720. For me personally, I probably wouldn't take that trade to the upside, just since we're so close to the 720. I have so many other orders that have set up and have good, have good setups. I don't have to scratch and take that one. I don't have to stretch myself to take that one. I think that's the word I'm looking for. So, here normally with this particular strategy, a lot of times it's good. You got really good setups. And so you can say, you know what, this one is shakier than the other ones. I'm probably not going to take this one. That's a decision that you make as a trader. Now, as far as the New Zealand yen, we're trading above our 720 here. All the moving averages are above the 720. We've got a little room here between our ask price and our 200, which is sitting at 77.59. We can buy on that 77.59 level, or up here on the 100 or the 200, which are sitting above the 77.71 area. So we can buy on either one of those levels. As far as the New Zealand US goes, we're trading above our 720. All the moving averages are above the 720. Our opportunities to trade are going to be on this 100 at 71.41 or on this 50 at 71.43. US dollar CAD, one of our majors here, we're trading below our 720. All the moving averages are below the 720 here, so we're going to short. We're looking to short here, on either our 100 or our 50 when it pulls back past those levels. We did in the last probably hour or so trade up here near the 200, so we could have dropped in order to sell on this 100 and maybe on this 50. Okay. As far as the US dollar Swiss goes, you can see that we're trading now below our 720. For a while there, we were trading above it, but now we're definitely below. All the moving averages are well below the 720 here. We've pulled up right here above our 100, so we can short on this 100 at 92.10. That's too close to the current bid, then we can short at 92.05. Okay. As far as the US dollar yen goes, we're trading below our 720. All the moving averages are in order to the downside here. We're starting to get that nice little angle on these moving averages. We're starting to get them to spread out a little bit. We'll see what happens here. We'll see what happens, but we need a pullback past our 100 or past our 50 in order to short. Now, Friday, we were getting that. We got these pushes past our 100 several times. Most of the day, we're trying to push past that 100. So we could have dropped an order either on this 100 or on this 50 to sell. And had we done that, we'd have needed a little bit of patience and a little bit of a wait over the weekend, but it paid us. Right? It certainly paid us. So we're going with that. So, you know, those are the opportunities that we have here on Sunday night. Like I said, direction looks like it's set on a lot of these. We've got a good direction going, but depending on how the Dow turns out in the morning and what direction we kind of go with that, then we might see some changes in our pairs. But right now, from the way things look, we've got some really great setups that we can take. So, you know, I hope that I hope that this has provided you some great opportunities. I hope that you found that, you know, some of these are opportunities that you can take and can capitalize on. And I hope that your trading goes well. So I thank you so much for your time, your patience. I thank you for tuning in and checking it out, even on the recording. You can come in live, it'd be great too. You can ask questions, things like that. It'd be great. So if you know anybody else who would be find this information to be valuable, just please let me know. And you know, we'll try to accommodate you and try to get them in here, you know, as part of our team as well. So I thank you so much for your time and your patience. Once again, this is Derek with the Trading the Tech Show for iLi Academy, and I wish you a great night. Have a great one. Bye-bye.